in your career, you're picking the spots as to who you want to fight. Is there a message you want to give to Spence?
Well, I don't got to give no message to nobody. Everybody see what I've done in the welterweight division. Everybody see who I've been calling out. Everybody know what Terence Crawford brings to the table. So it's not, too much of anything that I need to do.
Yeah. And there you have it, folks. Terence Crawford. That's his message to Errol Spence, that there's no message at all. I don't have to give a message to nobody. And he wasn't even really addressing Errol Spence. He generalized that to everyone, not a particular person or a specific person like Errol Spence. FYI, in this same interview, he did not know that Errol Spence has got in a wreck. This is just kind of like breaking news for Errol Spence that something like that happened. But I think at this point, Terence Crawford, he's kind of over the Errol Spence thing, especially when you try to do something and then you don't get what you asked for, and people change up certain things like they did. That fight should have happened yesterday or last month. And I'm talking about Spence, Crawford, Spence. That should have been last month. That fight should have happened. And it almost feels like, okay, you guys agree and you both want the fight. Like, what the fuck is the problem? Like, really, what is it? Like, oh, yeah, let's give everybody a guarantee except Crawford. And then you still have people sitting around trying to defend that shit, which to me at this point, it's sad. Yeah, you got Errol Spence fans. You got people, calling in to YouTube channels and, issuing threats and all types of shit, and on like stuff that they don't know anything. First of all, they don't know anything about. And I think what people should understand, if you don't know anything about business or boxing contracts or how things work or how things normally work, I think you should at least find out or educate yourself before letting your emotions, due to the fact that you're just a fan, get the best of you and you react to people that either know what the fuck they're talking about or, that are not fans and don't take it from an emotional standpoint. And a lot of people do that, And for Terence, I don't think he gives a shit just about fighting Errol Spence no more. I think, Al Heyman has some type of special control over that situation, and he's trying to limit Terence Crawford the best way he can. But the question you have to ask yourself is why? Why would you normally offer someone a guarantee until you get to a particular fighter, and then you're not offering anything? And then when he comes and counter offers with a deal that could help everybody, you say no. So that's all you really need to know about, that fight being made and who didn't want that fight. And at this point, you can't even blame Errol Spence, but then I kind of do. Why? Because Errol Spence is his own man. He's supposed to have his own promotional company, and he's supposed to manage his own fighters and all that, but he can't manage himself. So, to me, that's a hypocrite. That's an absolute hypocrite, because you're trying to tell this other guy, you're the boss, but then there's a boss over you, but that boss is affecting your pay, your money, your livelihood, your reputation, your legacy, right? Because see, Errol Spence beating Terence Crawford would mean that he's the best welterweight of this era of at least the last 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't get his first belt until 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So, you know what I mean? So I think it's one of those situations with Errol Spence. Errol Spence needs to know what he's worth, but Errol Spence needs to know, what he's willing to do to make certain things happen versus what he's not, versus what someone else is allowing him to do. Because Al Heyman doesn't give a shit about legacy fights. He just cares about managing the fighters that he has, and those fighters doing what he needs them to do in order to make a consortium work for him and his own benefit. That's how I look at it. I mean, Terence Crawford, I don't think he cares because he's never had to deal with that until now. He never had to deal with the politics and the BS from Al Heyman, or from no guarantees, or from incentives, or from splits. He never had to deal with those type of problems. So the question you ask yourself, okay, the most important question you ask yourself about Terence Crawford is he willing to go through all that bullshit again to possibly get a fight with Errol Spence? And then they do the same shit, push stuff back and send back drafts and push things back and pretend that, hey, yeah, you know, yeah, we want this fight this year, and then, oh, let's push it to 2024. Like shit like that, like they did this year. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Terence Crawford not responding to Errol Spence. And that's his response to Errol Spence. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.